I just smacked the shit out of my mic. Hello.
Hey,
hello.
yo.
Hello. Welcome to Snack Time, an offshoot of the Anything Bowl, where we talk about one thing, one single topic. Ladies and gents, it is the moment that the internet has been rallying for, has been screaming and wanting. It is the ultimate Fast and Furious tier list. Holy shit.
Hold up, let me do the ballet thing. Hold on.
Oh, fam.
My name's Mc. No, I'm just kidding. My name ain't Miguel.
It's about family.
Such a piece of shit.
My name's Dominic Toretto.
How is everybody doing? Let's race. Classic, dude. So, and celebration.
You got to turn on QuickTime Player. You got to screen record.
Goddamn, that's right. Technical difficulties, folks. Not really though.
Not really.
Not really, but sort of. So today, as you can see.
Yeah.
Hold on. Damn.
There we go. That was easy.
I was a little unprepared today, boss. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Oh my god. Anyway, so tell the people what we're doing today, Miguel.
Folks, we're doing a tier list of the Fast and the Furious movies. This includes only the main movies, the 11. It does include Hobbs and Shaw, but it does not include the little side movies such as Los Bandoleros, and I think there's like 2 other ones. Or like Road to Fast 2 is another one that came on like a DVD box set.
Yes.
This does, however, include Fast X, the worst title for a movie I've ever heard.
Worst title, but controversial movie. So let's get into it.
All right. So,
camera point. Let's go.
Number 1, we're going in timeline order, release order. Well, not timeline,
Yes.
release order. The Fast and the Furious, the first one from 2001, I think.
Classic like a motherfucker. You go first. What did you think, honestly?
I honestly, right? It's a product of its time. It is this crazy like after with age the CG is shit. The colors are all over the place. It's weird. It has the the color tint of when movies go to Mexico and it's all yellow. This movie feels like that, but this is like
that really does. And you know what though? I have to say that's probably like one of my favorite parts about the movie though.
Really?
Yeah, because I think I wrote that down saying that how it's like, and actually for me at least, I mean, granted it's like almost a 20-year-old movie, but it really enhanced the nostalgia. You know,
it really.
So
does,
I was kind of here for it, really. Honestly,
I like it a lot. Honestly,
yeah.
I will say though, there's a lot of cliches in here, and it's just wild to go from Fast X and think about this one and how different they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's solid, but there's much better that comes from it. And on the whole of the series, it does not feel, even though it's the first one, it doesn't feel like the rest of the movie. So I'm going to give this, I'll give it an A. It's quick, it's to the point, and it's not like too not based in reality.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think that for what it is, I mean, it kind of started that whole trend. But to be honest, if you really start to think about it, it is the most realistic out of all the movies.
They're stealing DVD players, man.
Stealing DVD. They can make you love her. You're a fucking pig. Don't say nothing about her. I'm sorry, man. I love Paul Walker, but
dude,
the acting was in its infancy. You know what I mean? So
it really was. But the chemistry between Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, dude,
it's unforgettable.
It's like the best part of the movie.
For all these movies, well, up until 7, unfortunately, yeah. So, but yeah, no, I think fantastic. I think the story for what it was simple. It was novel. Of course, you follow Brian, who's Paul Walker's character. And essentially, it's this whole thing with him playing a double agent between Dom Toretto and the family, and the feds, and the feds.
He's a pig.
He's a pig.
Race wars.
Bro. But it's really funny too. I like the cheesiness of it. I think that's the best way to cap it off. Between the race scenes, the cheesy romance between, Brian and what was that girl's name? I forget already. It's been so many movies. That's how bad. Mind you, don't nail me. This is like the first time I'm watching all the movies. The girl that Brian was seeing, or was Dom's sister.
Michaela? Not Michaela. Michaela's that, right? Transformers.
She was bad as fuck though. To put me on my Y2K vibes.
That's facts.
I'll tell you what.
That's facts.
But overall, great vibes all around. Next we have
Mia. Mia is her name. Oh god,
Mia.
that would have been Mia. Bad. Was bad. Beautiful. She's still bad. Anyway,
she's still bad.
Too Fast, Too Furious. This title alone is just not good. The movie, look, I gotta say, a lot of people will call this one of the worst ones. I'm gonna jump right off the bat. It's a B tier. It's not as bad as people say. I genuinely had a lot of fun with Too Fast, Too Furious. And it's funny that somehow in these like 11 movies, there's three groups, I'll say. The first group is like 1, 2, Tokyo Drift. It's just that original trilogy. The second group is where I think is really, they hit their stride, and that's 4, 5, 6, and 7. Mm-hmm. And then you have the modern ones, 8, 9, Hobbs and Shaw, and now 10, where everything gets too over the top.
Yeah.
This to
so
me,
it progressively gets worse, but this is kind
it's
of
the perfect part of that first one. This to me is where they perfect it. The only thing missing is Dom, but Tyrese is funny. Paul Walker, forget about it, Ludacris and his crazy hair.
Dude, I love Roman in this movie.
He's so good. He's oh my god.
It's great. Again, simple story, drug dealers and all this shit, you know, chasing them down, working with the feds once again. But, you know, I mean, it serves the purpose, you know. It's action, it's racy. Not as many race scenes, I feel like, as the first one.
No, yeah.
But still,
the further along you get, the less street racing there is.
Yeah, and I mean, again, the same slew just goes for this too. You really see the chemistry between Brian and Dom throughout this whole thing. Obviously, that's like, I'll have to say that pretty much every movie moving forward for the most part. Yeah,
it just sucks that Dom's not in this one.
Yeah, so
there was a bunch of contract shit,
which is annoying because I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck?
He's the face, man. He is the family.
Yeah. So, you know, overall, I think for me, I kind of agree with you. I kind of probably would put it more in the lower category of lower. I'll put it lower A. Definitely right.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good time because like
it's not a huge drop in quality. It's just like
it's not really a huge jump in terms of concept either. You know.
No, not at all.
I don't know.
Forget about it, cuh.
Forget about it, cuh. Onward.
All right. These titles are ridiculous. The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. It's funny that this is so different.
How do you...
But it's...
So, you know what I wrote down for this one? It's that...
I like it a lot.
You kill me, man. I gotta say, one thing you can't deny, as I think... This is what I think, and I don't know if this is a fan opinion, but I will say this. From an aesthetic purpose, I think it's probably like a top 3 movie, and like in terms of aesthetics. Yeah. Again, the whole Tokyo Drift vibe.
You know. Tokyo.
Story, absolute fucking garbage. And I honestly don't care for it that much. But on the flip side, you know, oh my god, damn. I like the vibes in this one though. I can see where you can find the appeal in it. You know, you get a lot more. I feel like the racing is definitely a bit more competitive, if you will.
Yes,
more
it feels
aggressive.
like there's a lot more at stake.
Yeah, that's a big one to point out. So,
I think it's funny though in terms of timeline how it fucks things up. How this takes place after 6, but it's supposed to be like 2013 or something, or like 2012, but it's actually like. Feels like it takes place in the 90s.
Yeah, so it's kind of
all over the place. I will say though, the one thing that I really did like that still doesn't make any sense and is really just fan service is Dom showing up in the end. They're like, "Oh yeah, man, it's time to race,"
wait,
and you're like,
"Is he gonna glasses?"
You're like, "Is he gonna drift?"
Oh my god, you got to point that up, dude. That shit's funny as hell. The fucking glasses.
I'm gonna say Tokyo Drift is because I like it. Honestly, I'll give it an A. Honestly, it's above Too Fast, but below The Fast.
Ooh, okay. Hey, bud, I'm sorry to break it to you.
Give it a D tier. That's fine.
Nah, not D. It's like what I said. I think if it wasn't for the aesthetic, I think it would be in D. But I have to put it in C. I just feel like it's an awkward. It's not awkward because culturally
it's an awkward sidestep.
It's exactly, but I think for me, like, especially watching the movies, it kind of messed up the flow a little bit personally for me. But you know,
all right. Now it's time to confuse the titles. This is Fast and Furious, number 4. I got to tell you. So, right, when we were watching these, Timmy and I, we sat down and we binged a couple of them, right? I think there was like a couple days where I was off for a weekend and she was off. We binged, I think it was, in 2 days, we binged 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. We binged like 5 of these fucking movies. And by the time you got to like 6, 7, and 8, even though they didn't blend together for me because I've seen them before, but they do start to blend together. This one is the start of that, like that second second running of the Fast movies, that second section of them, the second grouping. But
Yeah.
this sucks. Okay, the
Yeah, it
ending,
was bad.
right?
It was bad. Yep.
The last act, it doesn't redeem it, but it is much better than the beginning. But the entire first 2/3 of this movie feel and seem like a trailer. It feels like you're watching a fucking movie trailer for like an hour and a half, and then you go, oh wait, now there's stuff going on.
Well, that's the thing that sucks too. You start on such a high note, I feel like, and then it just crashes so quickly.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dom. Sorry, Dom.
Fuck. See, it's the forced acting that kills me sometimes, man. That's the one. These movies. It was a slog fest, though. I got to be honest with you. Just everything. Because again, like we're kind of following with the same theme here. You know, it's just like now we're kind of getting Don and Brian, kind of butting heads.
But that's the best part of the movie. Having them together, the bromance. That's the best part.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what made these movies, and that's what I have to keep saying. Because again, it's just like. Fairly similar concept, always in fucking trouble with something with the law or something.
That's right,
crap.
always.
Yeah, so
But at this point, it's still kind of new and it's still nice. But I'm gonna give this a D tier.
But it's really
I hate this movie a lot.
I have to. Yeah, for me, it's mostly too just because, again, what I've noticed with these movies is that for what it comes with the story and everything, that if the action scenes and the races and like driving and everything don't keep up with it, that's where it starts to really annoy me. So for that reason, yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Oh, but you know what? A positive of this movie, Gal Gadot shows up first. And it's the weird romance that she has with Dom that everybody wants you to forget about that doesn't go anywhere.
Of course. And you know
Which
what?
is super, super weird.
Fucking unnecessary, honestly.
Completely. But dude, somehow.
Coattails, baby.
Somehow, I'm going to give this an easy S tier. All right, off the bat. Fast 5. Somehow you go from the worst to the best in 2 years. And it's crazy. Dude, it's crazy the fucking quality difference. Because you get the family together, you get
fucking Dwayne, you get the
Rock, dude. This guy's got some of the stupidest fucking lines on the planet. Guy's like, I got good and bad news. He's like, I like my ice cream before my vegetables. And then I'm sitting there thinking, I'm sitting there thinking, all right, that's a throwaway line. And then they keep going. He's like, all right, give me the veggies. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. How did that make it in the movie?
But you know what it is? Like, I feel like out of all the times The Rock's been used, this is definitely the best.
Oh, it's perfect.
Like, it feels
he is fucking eating every line that they give him. He's eating and he's fucking thriving.
Because, like, you read it, right? If you gave that to anybody else on the cast, wouldn't make it fucking work.
No.
But for The Rock, it's cooking time.
Homie's living, man. Homie's doing his thing. And then you have the finale, right? Or the climax with the safe.
Oh, yeah. That shit was fucking crazy.
There's a reason that 10 years later they're revisiting it because they're running out of ideas.
Of course, but
it's just how the fuck do you go from one extreme to the other?
But it was really crazy is that like I feel like, and this isn't an unpopular opinion. Again, first time seeing these movies, if I had to really pin between the quote unquote brotherhood between Vin and The Rock and Vin and Paul Walker, with all due respect, Vin and Paul is like, like brothers. I kind of like that tension, I don't know, something about it I really fuck.
You mean where Vin's like clenching his hands and he's like, we're definitely the same height and we're definitely both as big as each other.
Definitely just as big as you. Bro, be on his tippy toes.
You're not. All right.
Come on,
you're probably wearing some kind of heel or something. All right. You can't convince us you're as tall as Dwayne.
I'm taking more trend than you are. No, I'm taking more trend than you are. No, I'm taking more trend than you are.
Oh my God, man. I hate the trend in this series of them being like, oh yeah, man, look, this guy is definitely the same color, size, and build as Vin Diesel. Because it doesn't work, okay? Spray tan him all you want. Yeah. Take as much trend as you want.
Dude, he was oily as shit.
The Rock was always fucking sweating, okay? Every time he did anything, he was just wet and dripping.
He'd be just sitting there, but...
Homie, get your cardio up, okay? You don't got to be that wet all the time.
I do agree, though. I must say... I'm like, why the fuck? Why did I put... No. What the hell? Wait, where the hell? No, okay. I was mixing up my... Sorry about that. I was mixing up my shit. I do agree, though. I think Fast 5, definitely S tier.
S tier. Then we get to Fast and Furious 6. Also known as Furious 6 if you watch it, but it's actually Fast and Furious 6. Honestly?
Yeah.
It's another S tier. It's below Fast 5, but these 3, 5, 6, and 7 are so fucking good. Okay, and there's a reason that they're slowly creeping up to the $1 billion mark.
For sure.
I think Fast 6, we get introduced to the Shaw Brothers first, which is super cool. You get the weird cars that flip other cars over, the ramp car.
Oh, that shit.
Awesome. The Rock, again, eating screen time. The family is great. They're at their peak. You have the longest, what's the word? The longest like takeoff lane shit. The longest runway. There you go. In existence.
Yeah.
You have the Brock Lesnar lookalike. Letty comes back to life.
Fantastic.
It's great. They hit their stride in 5. I mean, in 6, the only stupid thing is that Dom catches Letty in midair after there's a tank going down the highway. But
that shit was so funny, dude. But
bro, in 10, he's driving down a dam.
I was watching that with my friend. We both looked at each other. We're like, "Is this where the bullshit starts?" I'm just sorry, but it get like when I was watching. We'll get to it in a second. But when we were watching the ending of Fast X, I had the fucking flashback of that too. I was like, "Yeah, fucking kidding me again."
Like, I can't believe we're doing
How
this.
fucking funny would it be that he just hit the windshield though? Jesus.
He just goes through it. And he's a fucking quadriplegic.
You took away my son, but you ain't taking away my car.
You didn't take away my car.
No, I have to agree with you though. I think that for what 6 was, I do think that it built upon a lot of the things of the movie before it. Oh, excuse me, my God. Why am I sick, dude? I'm not vaping. Okay, leave me alone. Okay,
he's vaping.
I'm not vaping. No, stop saying that. No, but you basically just said how I felt too, because especially too with the chemistry just kind of getting stronger between everybody, and it sucks that we reach an eventual apex with these movies, moving on to the next one. Now the thing is, I'm gonna probably put 6 in A because I did enjoy it, but not as much as 5. But you know, it's like tomato, you know?
Tomato.
But the real question is, do I put it above 1 or do I put it on its own? And frankly, it is definitely above 1. So there you go.
That's a fact. I will say where you just put 6, you put 6 in A above 1 is where I'm going to put 7.
It's been a long
because dude,
time
7 has this fucking
without you, my friend.
This huge thing to overcome here, right? With the death of Paul Walker, and he only finished half the movie, so they have to figure out how they're going to get him in it, but also have the story, whatever.
But they did it so perfectly.
They did it perfectly. First of all, right?
It wasn't awkward. It wasn't shoot in, you know.
You got what's it? Jason Statham, the other Shaw brother. It's great.
Statham.
He's actually super compelling.
Was this the movie where he stopped when they were in the parking garage?
Yes, it is. And they had a lightsaber fight with the fucking wrenches. The street always wins. That's why it's an S. That's why it's not S tier. Because most of this movie, I'll say, up until that fight, is an S tier movie.
Yeah.
Between like the way that Paul looks, even though some of the CG is a little iffy now that it's been 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It's from a story standpoint, the action. Ronda Rousey randomly showing up. Tyrese is fucking hilarious in this movie. This is where he hits his apex. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do the birthday thing." Oh, everybody, it's her birthday.
You feel like Tyrese had a pretty oh, damn.
Because I think he's fucking obnoxious when you get to the newer movies.
Kinda, yeah. Kinda. It kind of goes from like well, this is kind of smart to like okay, now you're just being a goof. But
yeah,
I just enjoy him too much. He's like a good comedic relief, you know. But
at times he is, and at times he's really just like.
But Jason Statham did a fantastic job too.
He did.
I think
oh my god,
he kind of fits that like low key psychotic profile pretty well. You know,
yes.
I'm here for it.
Yes, and he really is, he's so good in this one, and even though he's like compelling later on, the fact that he joins the family is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but I'm here for
Everybody's part of the family. Where do you put 7?
I put 7. I probably put it right below. Actually, no. This is hard. Because 6 and 7, as we've been speaking about it just kind of goes hand in hand for me. You know?
They really do, yeah.
So, like, for me, whether I put it above or below, I'm just going to say, for the record, that they're kind of on equal par for me.
Yeah.
Rather, as the first 2 were, still A tier, but below those movies. So
the street always wins. This is like this movie is the start of the stupid Dom shit. All right, this is why this goes below the other ones, because he lifts a car. First of all, he stomps the ground like that.
Yeah.
Like he got superpowers and some shit, and then they're having like a lightsaber fight with these fucking wrenches.
And I'm like, dog, okay, so now this is where you really develop your reputation, it seems. So And
this
now
is
we get to
where-
the baby killer. Woo!
This is
Oh
where
my
they
God.
start to go down. Okay,
It really does.
This is the
It really
gradual decline. The Fate of the Furious, F8. There are parts of this movie I really like. I like when The Rock does some shit. I like Mr. Nobody. I like Cypher as a villain.
Cypher's
I like-
fantastic. I'd have to say that Cypher and I think if we're looking at top 3 villains right now, I think Cypher's definitely number 3. But what's
I would
really
say
fucked
it.
up is I had to think about it, right? And I had to really like revisit the movies in my head. And you may have had a point. Jason Momoa is probably a top tier one.
I know he's
But-
fucking great as a villain.
But Cypher's definitely like a, you know,
I think Cypher's great, but she has overstayed her welcome.
at this point, yeah.
By the time you get to 10, it's too much. All right, she was great in this one. Really gross that she has dreadlocks.
Yeah,
that's a weird character choice.
That was a problem, I'm sure, when it came out.
But then the thing that does this, the thing that really starts to bring this one down again, I really like the color palette in this one. I like a lot of the chemistry that the cast has at this point.
Yeah.
But I think Dom being the supervillain wearing the suit when he's getting shot at is fucking stupid. I think
is
they're
a little
running away from a
ridiculous.
submarine in Antarctica is fucking stupid. I think that
That
The Rock
scene
catching
itself,
a torpedo.
listen, I know what you're saying, but hear me out.
Oh no,
That scene was pretty fucking fire, dude.
no, it wasn't.
just saying.
The Rock catches a torpedo while he's hanging onto a car and
Just turn the
redirects
car a little left. Dude, it's great.
it. That's what I mean. The chemistry is great. He's yelling at Tyrese. He grapples him and then he hangs onto onto a car door as they track him along the ice. It's funny. I'm gonna give the Fate of the Furious. It goes in the bottom of B because it has some redeeming qualities. So therefore, I'll leave it, and it doesn't belong any lower.
Doesn't belong any lower. Watch me put it at the top of C. I mean,
That's
don't get
fine.
me wrong.
That's,
I hear what you're saying. I mean, because at this point, that's like drawing straws, like top of C, the bottom B.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for what it was, I mean, because it was just such a drastic decline.
It's
so
somehow
disappointing.
it's this is the start of them just being like, yeah, Vin, do whatever you want. Nobody's telling him no. Nobody's telling
You
him that it's a bad
apparently
idea.
know what you're doing. And then, of course, you get to now we go to a buddy cop.
Hobbs and
situation.
Shaw.
Hobbs
Dude,
and Shaw.
honestly, look, I'm sorry. A tier. Bottom A tier.
What the fuck is your problem?
You know what? No. A tier above Tokyo Drift. This is not a Fast and Furious movie, okay? This is just fucking ridiculous. You got, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But Jason Statham is great. The Rock is great. Their chemistry together is great.
Damn,
The action is cool.
crazy.
Idris Elba as a villain, very, very compelling, okay? Having a weird
yeah.
Superman, no, not compelling. But him as an
No.
actor, very
Stupid.
good.
I'm trying to remember. This is so obscure. I'm just going back to scenes in my head. What was the scene where the Rock is holding down a helicopter? Was that 9?
No, that was this one where he's
That was
holding
it.
it.
Yeah.
He's holding onto the car in one hand. And
That shit was fucking ridiculous, bro.
I thought that was cool.
It was cool though. That's the unfortunate.
Each
part.
brother was
But
coming
you know
up to the front, and then they're throwing the chains, and then the car goes. They're like, "Oh, we can hold it down now." And the helicopter pulls another car into the air.
Well, while I will agree that it is like a good like buddy comedy situation, I think Statham and The Rock really play off each other actually pretty well within this movie, and it was hilarious at points too. I got to be honest, because that's the thing. I think they know how to use The Rock in that way, especially because they know that he can bounce back and forth between like action star and like being a big goof. You know what I mean?
Yes, he can.
Idris Elba, obviously. I mean, he's just the right choice for any type of dark villain role in general. He just has that aesthetic to him, so I feel like he can pull it off pretty well. And overall, with all that being said, right? It's just like it was good, but if I'm comparing it, like if we had it as a standalone movie, like if we were ranking like Dwayne The Rock Johnson movies, it'd probably be like an A tier for me. But considering that it's part of a franchise like this, it probably for me kind of sticks more in B tier. Good.
That's fair.
Not as
I
good
think
as
I just-
what it's compared against to. But in
Yeah.
terms of the rest of the crowd, it's not terrible, So-
I just enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
And then you have dude, you have these last two. I gotta be honest with you, okay?
The last one's I'm gonna
First
tell
of
you
all-
right now, D tier for me right out the gate. But you go.
F9. The title is stupid. First of all right, F9, the Fast Saga. That is the poster. I think is cool. The title is fucking ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Okay, after okay, fine. Fast 5, good. Fast and Furious 6, good. Furious 7, they're equal. The symmetry, great. The Fate of the Furious, fine. You know what? Do something a little different. F9, the Fast Saga. What kind of fucking? How did you let that title get off the cutting room floor?
I don't get
What
it.
is your problem?
I don't know either, man. I feel like they just give the titles to Vin Diesel. I'm like, yeah.
I feel like Vin Diesel's the one that comes up with the titles, and they're
really
like, "No, how about this?" And he's like,
after a while.
"It feels like the conversations that we would have in like 2019,
we can't do that.
Where we're like, oh, what are we going to name this?" And I'm like, I spit an idea, then you spit an idea, and then Brendan spits an idea, and then I sit here and I got to be like, "Nah, I think we're just going to go with the idea that I had."
Listen,
feels like they're like, "Vin, what about this title?" He's like, "I think we're going to stick with F9. I really think that's a good one. Really represents the family, the Fast Saga." Oh, you know what? F9, the Fast Saga. There we go. That's a good idea.
You know what I want you to do? If you could do it for me, can you please put a picture of John Cena and Vin Diesel next to each other and tell me that they're brothers? Just do me the biggest favor.
Oh
because
my God.
that's just fucking ridiculous to me.
They fucking gave him a tan.
The one
they
thing
made
I
him
will
stand.
Say, yeah,
oh my God.
I might do what the fuck. And I gotta be honest with you, right? So we're gonna talk about Fast X a lot, especially because of how recent it's been.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, it's interesting to me how they tried to make like this rivalry thing with John Cena and Vin Diesel, right? And like, of course, like the clash of the personalities, right?
Bro, and then in the next movie you do.
But it's just not. But that's what I'm saying. Is I don't know. Like for me, it just doesn't. I think it's like we talked about in X, where it's like I feel like there just isn't that much of an emotional investment with John Cena.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't had that much time to be built up, and
exactly. No, but what's so funny is they're like, it's like a throwaway line, okay? In F9, they're like, oh, he's been living in his shadow his whole life. That's why he's so angry, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to 10, 2 years later, after an entire movie was based off of this, he's like, all right, Dom, I'm not going to live in your shadow anymore. No, Jacob, don't do it. I got to come out of your shadow now, Dom. Kaboom, smash.
You got a good kid. He actually fixed the bomb so I can kill myself. Which again,
thanks for fixing the bomb.
But yeah, nah.
But you know what's funny? I would give this a C tier. Okay.
Damn, really? Okay.
It's not in D only because of John Cena. Because I think, again, not as good as The Rock, but homie eats when he's on screen.
That's true. I will give him that. Because
the rest of the movie fucking sucks.
Yeah. Story's nothing really that eventful. Just kind of felt like a waste of 2 hours. Again, trying to do this thing where Vin thinks he's done with that life and he's really not.
He ain't.
Overall,
he really ain't.
It's just it's so ignorant. You know what I mean?
Can I do a backtrack
It feels
real
like
quick?
the formula's starting to repeat yourself. What's up?
Yeah, I don't like the formula. Can I backtrack real quick?
Sure.
Can I drop my F8 down to C tier instead of B tier? I don't like having it up there.
See, at least you came to your senses. I'm glad you did.
I'm going to put F8 right above F9 in the C tier.
That's completely fair.
Because then it makes room for Fast X to be in B tier.
Fast X is a B tier movie for you? Really?
Right below Too Fast, Too Furious. But mind you, that makes it like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th place out of 11. That's
all right.
7th or 8th, whatever it is.
Well, for me, it's going to be, after giving it a couple of days of thought, it really is just the top of C tier for me. Right above
That's
8.
fine. We're still very similar. I'm going to leave it right there.
Yeah,
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Fast X goes into the top of C tier.
Because you know what it is? Here's the thing.
It's
so we've gone through this journey, right, of all these movies, right? Let's just look at the retrospective real quick. You have, like you talked about, I like the way you put it. It's like its own 3 little sagas, right? You have the first 3, which is like strictly street racing and just the aesthetic and street culture. Then from like 5 to 7, you have this thing where it's starting to ramp up, but it's a good middle ground. It's
exactly. They're like, we need to start doing this stuff.
Now it's at the point where you're like, okay, how can we make this more fucking stupid? In between the action scenes, just my problem with the action scenes is not even like the fact that they're unrealistic. It's the
action scenes are fun, dude.
No, they're fun, but the thing is that there's no preposition as to why they could happen. You know what I'm saying? So just again to point it out as an example,
they just happen.
Right? Let's just talk about again like the ending, right? Where Vin's chasing after a supposed brother, right, is killed. Vin now is like fucking infuriated, so now he basically uses these helicopters chop onto him like with grappling hooks, and he uses them by essentially using downward force of a car that's probably not even full power of these helicopters, uses them as nunchucks to hit Jason Momoa's character, to then have them spin at the perfect amount of time, only for then the kid to remember the lesson through the radio, to somehow tie it into the beginning of remember our driving lessons, to hit at the right project. Here's the thing. The scene, fun. But it's also like, okay, the amount of on-screen time and connection and everything that you've had with said son throughout the whole movie doesn't elaborate how that just randomly happens. Okay? And that goes for a lot of scenes in this movie. And it's just crazy to me. Now, granted, Vatican scene was pretty fire. I will say that.
It was
But
pretty
then
good.
after the Vatican scene, it just goes down.
It really does, man.
And then it kind of
it's-
picks up at the ending, and then it goes down sharp again.
It goes just as downhill as Dom does going down that dam. It's the best part of this movie is Dante. Okay,
It really is.
The problem is at this point we're all aware of the cliches of the Fast franchise in the last like 3 movies, and we're in the know and we're making fun of it, right? And instead of Vin Diesel and the director and these thousands of people that work on this movie being like, well, maybe it's not a good idea to have him clench his fists, always turn his head, talk like he's whispering to someone, and talk about family in every other sentence. You know, I get that part of it is the cliches of the family and the dom and whatever, but like, you're not steering into the good of the series at this point. You're steering into the cliches, which doesn't make them any better. You're lowering the bar. And then instead of like, oh my God, dude, at this point, the whole idea was, we're going to split Fast 10 into 2 parts. So it's like an Avengers thing, you know? Part 1, a cliffhanger. Part 2, the finale of the series. This is what we're building towards. They said in like 2016 or 17, they know where the series is going to end. They just have to get there first. And yet, you still have Vin Diesel going out right now, being like, oh, nah, man, I think it's going to be a trilogy. And then you have this part 1 of supposed part 2 or 3 supposed to have this cliffhanger, and there's no fucking cliffhanger. You're like explosions, and Vin's doing his raised eyebrow fucking, my son, what are we going to do?
He looks weird as fuck in this movie.
He needs, bro, and then in the beginning, I don't know if they're fucking de-aging him when he's in direct sunlight because he's supposed to be 45 and he's like almost 60, or if it's just like shitty color grading, or if he's actually just CG'd like on another body.
It's like if you grab someone's face, right? Can't see it right now, but grab your face with me, right?
Okay.
And then just take your right hand and just push up put your thumb on your lip, and then put your top of your fingers on your forehead. And just push up. That's what he looks like the whole movie. Just fucking stroke face. Like how the fuck? I don't know what like this looks like, but I'll see it later. We're like, how did you find me? Like, bro, he's literally turning in the fucking you know what it reminds me of is when there was a period of time where Sylvester Stallone had this thing where like he's always had that like that lisp, you know, slant thing. I don't know what it was. Maybe he had a stroke. I'm sorry if he did. Right, but I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he had Botox too.
That's probably it too. Well, then there you go. You know,
that makes sense.
It looks weird. But anyway.
And it's weird because it's not just this movie. It's not like somebody made a mistake or it was like an idea for this one. Because I said the same thing when we watched Fast 9 of his just like, his face and the muscles on his face and the smoothness of it is not his normal face. They're really doing something to it. And listen, Vin, dude, if you're doing that because you still want to capture the magic of like 2013 Vin Diesel and like early Fast movies just to try and be like, look, we're still the same franchise, that means you got to stop. Okay, if you got to fight that hard to capture it for 3 or 4 years, it means it's time to stop. All right, lean into the whole older thing. Give us a time jump. Have your son be old enough that he could be the lead of the whatever the last fucking movie is. Steer into the old dad thing, and then do what everybody knows you're gonna do. Have Dom fucking die in the last one so we can move on already. All right, or do time travel or some shit and just end it. Okay, I'm having fun, but you got to know where to draw the line.
That's fair, dude. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's a shame how, again, like I think we talked about this before we went to go see the movie, but again, I'm not complaining at the fact that it's Vin Diesel's movie because it is, but what's unfortunate is that you have a really great cast, and you know, I feel like especially after that halfway point with the Vatican bombing, it felt like everyone was on their own little side quest, and that was cool and everything.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to find where each other are at and trying to
But
get
you're
to
not seeing the
rendezvous
family.
point. Well, you're not, and the thing is, you're not even highlighting the best parts about them. I feel like you are, but you aren't. Like, yeah, you have moments like where you have that little brotherly love between Roman and Luda, you know, and then of course like, you know, Mia and her little sitch with Cypher going on, which again, by the way, felt so unresolved and unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was not.
Dude, we didn't even talk about Giselle coming back. Fucking Gal Gadot is just like, look at me, I got a submarine.
Which was interesting to see and nice. Which again, that just signifies Fast X Part 2 is coming, or Fast 11. We don't fucking know yet.
And the return of Jacques the Cock Bonson.
Jacques the Cock Bonson with a fucking gray beard, of course, you know. And,
at least he's not CGing his face. At least he's acting like a normal fucking human being.
Well, that's steroids. But let's just cap off on the ending. The ending was very unsatisfying, I feel like, for what it was. Again, typical fast fashion, over the top, outrageous. You know, Dante essentially putting him in a pivot point between him, his son, the car, of course, on a dam. He's like, how you gonna get this one? We're just gonna drive off the hill. Drive off the dam.
You take away my family.
And of course,
you didn't take away my car.
And then, of course, he blows up the dam and, you know, of course, floods out and he's going down with his son and yada, yada and all these things. And, you know, it just, I understand. It was just, they want to set up the next movie. That's great. But understand, like, it's just not, just, if you're going to, right, so let's take, like, Infinity War to Endgame, where that was in a lot of ways satisfying because, yeah, the bad guy wins. But it felt like it made sense because it was like he did things in a smart way to get where he wanted. With Dante, it just felt so like underutilized. You could have done so much more. You could have created a stake. You could have created a reason. Like, you know, Cypher killed his daughter. You could have had Dante actually kill his son. And that's the motivation for the next movie and create a stake.
100%.
But you didn't even think to do that.
Then you could use time travel to get him back.
Yeah, and get the Dr. Brown car. Not going to call it DeLorean, the Dr. Brown car.
The Dr. Brown car. Can we talk about, real quick, Alan Richson?
Yeah.
The big muscle guy who was like, hey, Dom.
Hey, Dom, I'm your friend, but I'm not your friend.
I'm not your friend. You're so easy to give into the family thing.
He was good, like...
I am so happy that he's becoming this, like, movie star because I think he's a pretty great actor. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you ever watch Blue Mountain State?
No, but you did mention that he was in that.
Great show. He's like the lead idiot buff guy, and he's fucking hilarious.
Idiot buff guy. I love it.
Thad. Great show. I think it only lasted like 2 or 3 seasons, but he's fucking hilarious in it. And I'm glad that, first of all, he somehow found whatever supplements The Rock is taking and has gotten like 3 times as big. And he's just like, again, he's the Rock replacement in this movie, clearly, but he's just fucking eating every scene he's in.
No, it's, and you know, I do agree. I think that he played like a good, I don't know, you would call it like a assisting antagonist, if you will, you know? I think he did a good job. You know, he played the fence a little bit, and it did definitely help the story be a bit more intriguing, you know? Because especially with the points because at certain points you did feel like, yeah, he's going to go to Dom's side, and of course at the end, you know, bada boom. Yeah, the agency don't fuck with you. Boom. Bye, Dom Toretto. Gonna destroy the family.
Toretto.
So we had some high points in this movie, we had some low points in this movie, but overall,
we did.
It's a C tier. You know what? And here's the thing: at the end of the day, obviously they can't end on this, but you know, for it being in this little saga that's happening right now, it's probably the best from like 8 to 9.
No, exactly. I would agree. It's the best one since 7.
Not including, you know, Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw. No, that's separate. But in terms of these mainline movies, it's the best one since.
So if they keep up the energy and they just put a little bit more focus into the story, a bit more, just harness it a bit better, create a stake, because that's what really made 5 through 7 fantastic. There were stakes involved, you know. So I'd like to see that again. But that's it, folks. That's the ultimate tier list. We'll
see you again for the Fast and Furious Ultimate Tier List Part 2 when there's a Fast X Part 2 or Fast X Part 3. or
Shit.
F11, the Fast Saga.
I'm not ready.
Have you ever
anymore? We're on Instagram,
Gotcha.
TikTok, YouTube. Did I say YouTube? We're on YouTube. We
YouTube.
have 3 mainline episodes throughout the week on our main YouTube channel. You are watching the movie review. Movie reviews. We're having a blockbuster season. We're probably going to keep this up basically forever.
Matt, this isn't the movie review. This is snack time.
Shit. Well, it feels like one. Okay, don't nail me.
It does.
For
It does.
This is the snack time tier list. Jesus Christ, my head's all over the
Yay!
place. Yay, we got it. Yay. This comes out every Wednesday. Movie reviews every Monday. Main episodes every Friday. It's a good time. Make sure to check it out. Turn on the notification bell. Also, make sure to check us out on audio. You've been doing pretty good on audio for listening, so thank you. We're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so try and listen up on there. So appreciate that. Over next to my head, you'll see a fucking dumbass kid named Miguel who looks like Vin Diesel, and he's going to tell you exactly what the fuck you've been missing.
It's
on.
about
what we've been missing on Vin Diesel. What is this
Okay,
about? Family
so
about the
let me-
podcast?
Both. The podcast is the family. So here we go. Today is Snack Time, the Ultimate Fast and Furious tier list. On Monday, you just missed it, man. We did the movie review for Fast X. We basically said a lot of the things we said today, but on Monday, and we talk about it more in depth. Before that, we had episode 54, a folding pixel arrives, The Legend of Zelda and the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Yeah, it's a long trailer or a long title. Tyler? It was fun.
Not a train.
We
like
enjoyed
that,
ourselves. Lastly, before that, we had that snack time last week. Modern Masculinity Hot Takes. That's right, Hot Takes 3, bitches. It happened. People are really enjoying it on YouTube. So,
I'm really passionate about
thank
that
you.
one. I'm sorry.
We
I didn't
be
mean to hurt
eating.
your feelings. Be eating every
upcoming.
scene.
Upcoming, we got episode 55 coming out this Friday. What's it going to be about at the point of recording this right now? We don't know. We make sure we stay up with the news, so we'll find out on Friday just like you guys. After that, we got Monday's movie review upcoming is The Little Mermaid. Who's excited for that? No one? Good. Neither are we.
I'll be honest. I'm excited for it. I mean, we'll see.
I couldn't give a shit. If there was another movie, I'd want to go see that. But it's Disney, so every single showing in my theater for those 4 days is just The fucking Little Mermaid.
Listen, go in with positive expectations, okay? It's progressive. All right,
Matt,
just give
if
it a
you
chance.
leave- Oh, dude, it has nothing to do with the casting. It has nothing to do with... I'm fine with it being progressive. I'm saying...
Oh yeah, Miguel?
I don't fucking
Is
care
that
about The
really
Little
what
Mermaid.
It's not about. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me do that.
You know what it's
where
really
if you don't
about?
like the movie, that's what it's about.
It's about the CG recreations of Flounder and whatever his name is that look like they belong in a horror movie.
They look like they belong on a fucking Red Lobster plate. The fuck you talking about?
It looks horrible.
I'll tell you what. They should. This is why I petition that they just should have followed the fairy tale accurate version where she gets her legs chopped off. That would have been
What?
Nice. Yeah, you got to read up on that. Check it out. Blow your fucking mind.
Okay,
Fucking
so
Earth Dweller.
goodbye, everybody.
That being said, check out everything that we said, and